Army chief visits Kaduna over bombing incident as northern leaders demand justice for victims. Bandits kill 1, kidnap 8 in Niger, demand 17 million naira ransom. Prices of soybeans soar in Kano market as merchants mop up produce for exports. On the foreign scene, death toll rises to 63 in Tanzania as torrential rains cause flooding across region. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I'm Aisha Salihu. Now, women at Kurumin village in Kaduna say they are traumatized following the death of their husbands and children who were killed by the mistaken drone attack of the Nigerian army on Sunday night. The women stated this during a visit by the Kaduna State Deputy Governor Hadiza Balarabe, the Chief of Army Staff, as well as traditional and religious leaders. Trust TV's Bello Musa has more.
The community is devastated as many women are now widows following the death of their husbands. They said they also lost their children to the accidental army bombing.
We were 10 in our house, but now it is only one that is remaining because our siblings were killed by the strike. We appealed to the government to come to our aid. Our husbands and children were killed. We don't have shelter nor food right now. We have to go to the bush and fetch firewood before we can get food to eat.
This lady, who is mourning her late mom, could not mention her name due to the trauma of losing her mother. The community says, despite official figures, the death toll is still rising. Even yesterday, we buried 78 persons. I have the list. Even today, some died, and we are still counting. We want the government to help us. The visit by the Kaduna State government is to commiserate with the community over the death of their loved ones.
His Excellency, the Governor, and even the Presidency has called for an investigation, and inshallah, whatever is due to the people here, the government will try as much as possible to fulfill that. Our prayer is that for those who have lost their lives, that Allah in His mercies and His magnanimity will grant them rest, and that the families will be given the comfort and the fortitude to bear the loss. We pray that Allah in His grace will continue to protect us, and that this incident, by His grace, will never happen again.
The district head of Rigasa, Aminu Idris, appealed to the government to support the victims. A look at their road will make you realize that they are suffering. Government should look into their plight. After paying compensation, government should consider their welfare. The Chief of Army Staff also visited the community to apologize over the incident and to console them.
The Army has already set up an inquiry, but coming here on the ground, it has given me an idea of the kind of expertise we need to bring onto the committee that is conducting the inquiry, for us to have an holistic view and to be able to give us recommendations that are worthwhile going forward. The Army as a responsible organ of government and organization is willing to support law-abiding citizens. More so that the unfortunate incident that happened on Sunday occurs as a result of error on the part of Nigerian Army personnel. So we are ready to take responsibility for the medical bills of those ones in the hospital, and also provide other support to the entire community so that they can live their life more worthwhile.
Tudimbiri is a mixed community, and according to the district head of Rigasa, there are Christians among the dead. From Tudimbiri in Kaduna State, Bella Musa reporting for Trust TV.
President Bola Tinubu has sympathized with the families of victims, the people and government of Kaduna State over the bombing mishap in a village at Tudunbiri in Igabi local government area of the state. In a statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajurin Galale, President Tinubu described the incident as very unfortunate, disturbing and painful, expressing grief over the tragic loss of Nigerian lives. The president directs a thorough and full-fledged investigation into the incident and calls for calm while the authorities look diligently into the mishap. Meanwhile, the defense headquarters says terrorists were embedded with civilians when an airstrike by the Nigerian army hit Tudunbiri community in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. 85 people were killed with several others injured in the bombing. The director of the defense media operations, Edward Buba, said the airstrikes were targeted at terrorists. He said the Army's unmanned aerial vehicle detachment observed the movement of terrorists at Ligarma, an area notorious for being a haven of insurgents. Buba said the military views every civilian death in the course of operations as a tragedy, adding that since such tragedies are needless and unwanted, the armed forces always take extensive measures to avoid them. The Nigerian army has since accepted responsibility for the incident, stating that its troops were on a routine mission against terrorists when the mistake occurred. The Northern Elders Forum has described the Nigerian Army's accidental bombing of Tudunbiri in Kaduna State on Sunday as a serious cause for concern for the safety and well-being of people in war zones. The forum urged a thorough probe into the tragedy that killed scores of innocent persons. NEF's Director of Publicity and Advocacy, Abdulaziz Suleiman, said in a statement on Tuesday that the elders recognized that the Kaduna State government had risen to the occasion and promised that the strike victims would be compensated. He stated that conducting a comprehensive inquiry into the unintentional bombing is critical to averting future accidents. According to him, the investigation could discover any systemic flaws, deficiencies in training, or poor practices that may have contributed to the accident by analyzing the circumstances that led to the tragedy. He added that the military, armed with this knowledge, may adopt important reforms such as increased coordination, enhanced intelligence collecting, and stricter adherence to rules of engagement. Also, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has lamented the accidental bombing of residents in the Tudunbiri community of Kaduna State by the Nigerian Army, calling for what he described as a thorough investigation into the incident. 85 persons were killed and 66 injured in the Sunday accidental bombing in Nigeria's northwest, a region battling banditry and kidnapping. Days after the incident, which has thrown the nation into mourning, Atiku, who was the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 elections, says the airstrike was an unfortunate incident. In a post on his X account on Tuesday, Atiku said incidences of miscalculated airstrikes is assuming a worrisome dimension in the country. He called for the development of counterinsurgency strategies that will insulate the civilian population from tragic incidents of this nature. Still on security matters, Army men suspected to be bandits have allegedly killed one person and kidnapped no fewer than 8 others in the Borgu local government area of Niger State. The incident was said to have occurred between Luma and Babana on Saturday in the council. It was learned the victims were attacked while returning from the installation of the chairman of Borgu Kingmakers and chief priest, Bakara Bonde. Reports say the driver of the vehicle conveying them was shot dead, and the vehicle set ablaze before the 8 other travelers were whisked away. Confirming the incident, the chairman of Baragul local government, Suleiman Yarima, described the incident as painful and unfortunate, adding that the bandits have made contact and are asking for 17 million naira in ransom. He explained that the council had reported the incident to the State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftain Affairs, who will in turn communicate it to all relevant authorities in the state. 33 people, including settled Fulani herdsmen and farmers, were killed in fresh killings in 3 villages of Bali local government area of Taraba State. According to Daily Trust reporting, 21 persons were killed at Garbato village, 10 others at Gamfeto, and 3 persons killed at Hawan Mata, all in Bali local government area 2 days ago. The killings were linked to 3 Fulani herdsman vigilante groups that targeted Fulani herdsmen who settled in the area years ago. Sources say after the attacks, hundreds of Fulani herdsmen had fled with their cows into neighboring Adamawa state. Similarly, many cows were said to be rustled and more than 30 motorcycles belonging to those killed were carted away. Daily Trust reports that last week, bandits killed 18 hunters in the Bali local government area of Taraba State. The Taraba State Police Command has not responded to calls for comment on the development. The Imo State Police Command says the second-in-command to an Eastern Security Network commander, Ebube Virus, has been killed in a fierce gunfight. The deceased suspect is on the command's wanted list due to his nefarious activities in the Abo-Mbise axis. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Aboki Danjuma, said this in a statement issued by police spokesman in the state, Henry Okoye, on Tuesday. CP Danjuma called on the people of Imo to support the police and other sister security agencies with timely and actionable information that will assist in the crusade against terrorism in the state. He encouraged owners of hospitals and first aid outlets to report any person seen with or treating gunshot injuries to the nearest police station. The management of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi has closed down the institution and directed all students in the 2 campuses in Yelwa and Gobi to immediately vacate the premises. The Director of Information and Public Relations of the institution, Zailani Bappa, disclosed this while addressing journalists at the University Guest House in Bauchi. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the report.
According to him, the decision was taken to avert violence and destruction by the students following a protest embarked upon over the death of one of the 500-level geology students, Joseph Agabaidu, murdered by suspected gunmen. Some aggrieved students staged a peaceful demonstration demanding the institution to take prompt action, while others expressed mixed feelings over the matter.
This thing is what has been happening for a very long time, but the school has been keeping quiet. But now the students came for protests, and it's a peaceful protest. The students are angry. They should rob our lodge. It's not an ordinary robbing, no, a brutal robbing. They come with different things. Now they have killed students. Last year they killed students. Now the students are angry.
They are just on their own. We don't know who organized the protest. It's an illegal protest happening because nobody signed on the protest for them.
Bappa added that the security departments of the university has been directed to ensure all students leave the 2 campuses immediately.
This issue is not as simple as they see it. When somebody is killed, that person, the police must investigate deep to find out who are the culprits. If they can't even find the culprit, they will at least know why the person was killed. Because all the things that are being said are now from hearsay. Most of the issues, they are acting on hearsay. None of them is a neighbor, even of the victim, They don't share compound together, they don't go out together, they don't know what happened that time. The only thing is, it is reported he was stabbed and so on and so forth.
He noted that for the sake of clarity, the murdered student was staying off campus. The management also handed over the case to the Nigerian police force for onward investigation on the alleged murder. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
This is Trust TV News Hour. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at the rising cost of table water, which now worries Makurdi residents. Details of this story and more to come. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you desire to fulfill your Hajj obligation but cannot afford to pay at a go, you need not to worry anymore. Jaiz Bank PLC, in collaboration with National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACAN, and the State Pilgrims Welfare Boards have jointly introduced Hajj Savings Scheme to help you fulfill your wish. Whether you're a cattle rearer, a farmer, a petty trader, or a parent who wishes to start saving for their children and be getting profit at the same time, this scheme is for you. Visit any of the Jaiz Bank branches or Hajj Commission offices nearest to you to enroll, or go to www.hajsavings.jaizbankplc.com to register. For further information, contact info@jaizbankplc.com or call the number 070-077-30000.
Should I keep quiet? And then we kept saying, can't we teach these people basic business, not hustling? Teach our people entrepreneurship, not hustling. Go to China, Guangzhou, different districts. They can turn fair. Am I saying what you don't know?
So this about this thing.
Yeah, but this time around we are talking about appointment of ministers, where there is an express provision in the constitution as regards that.
Let's come to appointment. You know, it is the status of FCT that the constitution has made it too complicated for people to understand.
However, if you are to go backwards and do a kind of audit, you will be shocked to find that the resources so far expended on the SDGs far outstrips the achievements face to face.
Most of the time when you are involved, it's difficult for you to draw back and have a holistic view. Because what? Sentiment would always come to play, because all of us would definitely, I had, like I told you yesterday, I was 100% convinced that you cannot say you are qualified without bringing any document.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have a mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is, if the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly above, below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and the states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card, and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying. If you're just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that Army Chief visits Kaduna over bombing incident as Northern elders demand justice for victims. Plus, bandits kill 1, kidnap 8 in Niger, demand 17 million naira ransom. Now moving on to more stories. The All Progressives Congress and the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Gabriel Dewang, are at loggerhead over the swearing-in of the newly declared lawmakers who are largely members of the APC. The new lawmakers were declared as winners of the March 18 elections by the Appeal Court after sacking the 16 PDP lawmakers in the State Assembly. The Speaker has stated that the swearing-in will not take place until January 23, 2024, when the House resumes from the 2-month recess. Ado Musa has details of this story.
Since 1999, leadership and legislative conflicts have been commonplace in the state assemblies, leading to the current crisis in every political era. This time, the discussion revolves around recent judgments handed down by the Court of Appeal, which sacked all 16 lawmakers of the People's Democratic Party in the State Assembly, citing the party's disobedience of court orders to conduct congresses from ward to state levels. 3 days before the judgment that ousted the 16 PDP lawmakers, the only member of the YPP was elected as Speaker. Following the election, the new Speaker announced a 2-month recess, a development that APC described as a plan to prevent the swearing-in of incoming members.
Okay. When a new member come to assembly when the assembly is on recess, there's nothing anyone can do until the House reconvene from the recess.
Okay.
The House cannot cut recess because new members come in. It's not done anywhere. Already the recess was a motion, move and adjourn, and it's become a legal document. It become a motion. You understand?
And because of personal reasons that somebody had to declare a recess, we know that in the House of Assembly that when issues of matters of urgent importance come to bear, the House definitely will reconvene so that they tackle issues of Plateau. So they have to make laws for the betterment of the people of Plateau, and therefore I believe that APC will find a constitutional way in which the Speaker will be made to reconvene the House.
Lawyers expressed divergent views on the matter.
So as it is, I think the House is on a legitimate recess, and then the members on ground do not form quorum to be able to carry on with the duties of the House. However, the law could also be interpreted to mean that the 8 members, the 7 APC and 1 PP members, as it is constituted, they are the complete members of the House of Assembly. Other persons are yet to be members of the House of Assembly because
there is no law anywhere that forbids a legislative arm of government from reconvening from a recess when there is a call to duty for them to attend to. And in this case, it is only the Speaker that is on recess. Because immediately after this House sat and made him Speaker, the court nullified the remaining 13 PDP House of Assembly members. Now, whether they are in recess or no recess, they are not even members. Even if the recess ends today, they are not coming back to that house because they have ceased to be members. Now he's the only person on recess. And upon the receipt of certificates of return of the APC who won at the Court of Appeal, the House ordinarily needs to reconvene.
The lawmakers designated are expected to collect their certificates of return, while citizens wait to see whether the new lawmakers will be sworn in before the expiry date of the recess. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Still in Plateau State, students of the Plateau State University on Monday staged a peaceful protest in their school premises against what they termed online hitches in their registration process. Reports say the hitches were as a result of the school's redesigning of its website and the attendant malfunctioning of the school portal. It was also learned that the students are aggrieved that despite the hitches in the registration process, the school management also increased the late registration fee, among other demands. The students, who chanted different solidarity songs, also carried placards with different inscriptions until they were addressed by the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Administration, while the Students' Union government later met with the school management to resolve the issues. It was learned that late registration was 5,000 naira, but has now been increased to 20,000 naira, while most of the students are yet to complete their registration because of the technical hitches. Meanwhile, the school's public relations officer, John Agam, said the issues have been resolved, adding that the registration deadline has been extended further, while the portal problem would be fixed. Justice Mohammed Madugu of the Federal Capital Territory High Court has dismissed a charge bordering on impersonation leveled against the national chairman of All Progressives Grand Alliance, Edozie Njoku, by the Nigeria Police Force. Justice Madugu held that there was no way the allegation could stand because the prosecution counsel failed to prove how Njoku committed impersonation. The police had on November 22, 2022, arraigned Njoku and the national youth leader of APGA, Chukwuemeka Nwoga, on 14 counts allegation bordering on impersonation and conspiring with others at large to alter a judgment of the Supreme Court, delivered by Justice Mary Peter Odili, retired. Delivering judgment on Tuesday, Justice Madugu dismissed all the 14 counts preferred against Njoku for lack of substantial documentary and oral evidence by the police lawyer Ezekiel Renasonte. The defense counsel had urged the court to discharge and acquit the defendants because the police had failed woefully to discharge the burden of proof solely placed on them by law. A Yobe State High Court sitting in Potiskum on Tuesday sentenced a dismissed soldier, Lance Corporal John Gabriel, to death by hanging, and Lance Corporal Adamu Gideon to 10 years imprisonment at the Nigerian Correctional Service. Justice Usman Zana Mohammed convicted Gabriel attached to 241 Reese Battalion, Nguru, and Gideon after he found them guilty of the offenses of murder and conspiracy, respectively. Delivering the judgment, Justice Mohammed held that after careful consideration of the facts before the court and the failure of the defendants to provide essential witnesses to corroborate their claims, he sentenced the two convicts in line with the provisions of the law. Recall that a prominent Islamic scholar based in Gashua, Goni Aisami, was murdered in Karasuwa local government area of Yobe State by a soldier whom he gave a lift to while on his way to Gashua from Kano on August 22, 2022. Angered by the action of the ex-soldiers, the Yobe State government, through the Ministry of Justice, took the matter to court, which led to the judgment. In an effort to rid the state of crime and criminalities, Rivers State Commissioner of Police Olatunji Disu paraded two wanted leaders of Deigbam and Iceland cult groups in Ogoni axis of the state. The two gang leaders were paraded alongside a number of suspects for a variety of crimes ranging from kidnapping, armed robbery, and murder, among others. The report.
It's the median briefing of the Rivers State Commissioner of Police, Tunji Disu, at the command headquarters in Port Harcourt, Rivers State capital. The new Commissioner of Police warned criminal elements in the state to stay clear or be ready to face the full weight of the law. CP Olatunji Disu made this known while parading a group of suspects who are accused of burying alive the Community Development Committee chairman of Korekambua community of Rivers State.
They murdered the victim after collecting the sum of 200,000 naira as part of the payment of ransom for his life. The duo confessed to murdering 9 other suspects, other victims from 2021 to 2023, and were main reasons for the partial evacuation of the community within that same period. Investigation is still ongoing to uncover the full scale of the suspect's operation.
Among them are the leaders of the notorious Degbam and Iceland cult groups who are accused of burying their Community Development Committee chairman alive in Kana local government area.
The government have given us peace and we have submitted. Let bygone be bygone. So I don't expect why they are arresting us and giving us charge.
But they say you collected 200,000 ransom.
It was the community money that we contribute to him. 7 million naira. He now ate our money and used the money and fight against us.
Okay, is that the reason you revenge?
Yes.
So what was the money about?
It was the money that we contribute to make a better thing in the community. He now used the money and sponsored the other side, and he was involved in the killing of 7 innocent people in the community.
So how many of their own people did you kill?
He was the one that involved in the killing of 7 innocent people in our community.
And when people retaliated, how many of his own group did you
It's only him, sir.
But we hear you killed them and 3 of them.
The other 2 people are courtesans.
Okay, those ones are courtesans.
Yes, sir.
Going to prison now is not a game. I'm pleading. I will sign undertaking on their behalf. I will sign undertaking on their behalf. I will. No, sir. When I come out, I did not involve in crime. But just because I'm a leader, anything they do, they will put on Iceland, so I will not deny. But I'm here to plead that they should help me. They should have mercy on me. I'm begging my chief also.
The traditional ruler of Kerenkebua community, however, displays some photographs showing some of the deceased. As he says, the community had to flee because of the cultists.
They are about to cause war between the Andoni axis with us. So we are crying to the government today to save us from the hands of the activities of these children.
Also displayed were weapons and ammunition recovered from the suspects.
Farmers in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, have appealed to the state government to find a lasting solution to the challenges posed by the activities of herdsmen on their farms. They made the appeal while speaking to Trust TV on some of the challenges facing agricultural activities in the state. Let's have a look at the details of the story.
Farming and rearing of animals are some of the activities that attracts people from different parts of the country to Taraba State for business transactions. While some come for the rainy season farming, some come for the dry season farming, while others visit the state for rearing of animals due to the nature of the state. The state is blessed with a potential rainfall which allows the grasses to stay for a long time in the area, a situation which attracts both farmers and herdsmen across the country, with a majority of them being Fulanis from the far north. However, farmers in the state have been complaining that herdsmen have been destroying their farms due to the onslaught of their animals. According to them, despite staying in their farms from dawn to sunset to protect their farm produce, the herdsmen who invade their farms with sophisticated weapons have continued to be a major setback to their farming business. They lamented that even with such cases being reported to the police or taken to the courts, nothing will be done to address the situation.
We invested so much into especially maize, but now, where I was expecting like 100 bags of maize, I only came back with just about 10 bags of maize, and mostly due to that herders, they finished everything.
The herdsmen usually invade our farms and allow their animals to graze on our crops. The sad part is that even when you report to the authorities, nothing will be done. When we try to defend ourselves, we will be overpowered because they always wield sophisticated weapons. We are facing so many challenges ranging from high cost of petroleum, herdsmen attack, as well as increase in price of farm implements, among others. But the major challenge is that of the herdsmen. They will not come to our farms now because there are still few fresh grasses for grazing. But as soon as the grasses are gone, precisely between January and February, they will push their animals to our dry season farms because they know they will have fresh plants and water for their animals. Government should do something about it. The chairman, Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria and the state, Tanko Bobo Andami, called for the government regulations of the activities of herdsmen and the farmers to address the age-long crisis between the two groups.
It is the responsibility of the government to preserve this cattle route so that as governments benefit from the grains cultivated by the farmers, they also benefit from the revenue from the cattle. So it is the responsibility of the government to come out clearly with cattle route and grazing areas.
Attempts to speak with the security agencies on steps taken to address the issue were not successful.
Despite the bumper harvest of soybeans during this year's wet season farming in Kano, farmers say soybeans is still scarce in the markets due to evaluation of Nigerian-grown soybeans for export. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that merchants are storming agro-commodity markets in the state to mop up soybeans for export.
Inside Dawano International Grains Market in Kano, trucks loads of soybeans are waiting to be transported to different parts of the country. Some to factories for processing, others for foreign exports. According to traders in the market, this year's soybeans price started at about 300,000 naira price per ton. But due to the high demand by the exporters, the price jumped to over 400,000 naira per ton.
2 months back ago, we bought the back of the soybeans 37,000, but right now, presently, the price is increased. It's past 40,000. Now we sell it, we buy it 42,000. Sometimes if we bring it here, we sell it 44, 43, 45. This is the price that we have now.
In Dawano Grains Market, soybeans have become a hot commodity sought after by many companies, resulting in a rise in the price to an alarming level, in addition to steep competition among local oil millers. We had stable price from the beginning of this year's dry season. During that time, we are selling a bag of soybeans at the cost of 30,000 naira, 33,000 naira, at worst 35,000 naira. But as I'm talking to you now, we are selling a bag of soybeans at between 43,000, 44,000 naira up to 45,000 naira. So the price keeps on increasing. There is no standard price. Today you will come to the market, you hear a different price. Tomorrow if you come back to the market, you will hear another price. But in general term, the price is increasing on daily basis. Although soybeans farmers had recorded a bumper harvest this year, traders say the demand has also increased largely due to the activities of exporters. Well, actually, there is no standard price, and the reason why the price of soybeans is increasing because we have so many factories, indigenous factories that are into oil processing mill. Those companies used to come here to buy the soybeans in large quantity. There are also agents of different foreign countries that also used to come and buy the soybeans for export. This all together accumulated and make the price to jump higher. So at the moment, the price is at the top level actually. So far, market leaders say since there is no law prohibiting the exportation of the commodity, the development relating to soybeans may indeed continue to threaten Nigeria's food security. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Residents of Makurdi, the Benue state capital, have expressed displeasure over the state government's failure to effectively supply water in the metropolis, leading to an increase in the cost of water. They are worried that, despite an endowment like the River Benue, the state still experiences water crisis. Jimmy Azande reports.
Okay, water, they say, is life. This explains its necessity for human survival. However, the commodity is becoming a scarce one due to high costs because of negligence on the part of the state government. These vendors said it's difficult for them to access table water.
Buy the pure water at the rate of 200, so I sell 250. The bag of pure water, and I give 3 for 50 naira.
Not easy like before now. If it is before, we buy at rate of 150 and say 200, and now we buy at rate of 200 and say 250. If the federal government will help and make it easy like before, 150, and we can say at rate of 200, because that 50 naira addition is not easy for people.
Like the vendors, Consumers are urging the authorities to provide them with a basic element of life.
Gaskiya before they buy pure water 10 naira, 5 naira, and so they say for everywhere. Now say they buy pure water now 20 naira. This naira actually is cost too much. I beg make it turn up for government or make it return the 10 naira back.
I buy pure water for motor 250. 250 is too much, too cost. Even now my fridge is empty because I don't get money to buy pure water again. Nobody they come buy. I made them reduce the price now. Pure water, made the pure water come normal price. But now what we do like this, maybe so hungry. If you don't chop, I go my drink water.
Aside the cost, the residents are worried about the quality of water, which may also pose health challenges to consumers. Residents are hopeful that Governor Alia, who has since visited the vicinity of the water plant in Makurdi, will chart a way forward. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after the break.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance, and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty.
Is a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira X rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than dollar exchange rate. So you want to...
Since central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast. Number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation, and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV, your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have a mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is, if the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly above, below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
This is Africa Update on Trust TV. I am Ayuba. Thanks for joining.
Rest of Africa, stand and make sure that our people understand.
And the story of the OAU can be told and retold. It cannot be denied that it made a contribution to the process of decolonization of the continent in many ways.
Ethiopia is where it is today in no small part because of the tireless efforts of the African Union and the wisdom of its deeply held belief in the principle of African solution to African problems.
The bulk of African countries were under colonial rule in 1945.
So they did not take part in the negotiations that established the Bretton Woods institutions.
But the African continent is not included in the South-South relations. And therefore, our objective is to ensure that the Africa Free Trade Agreement is actually implemented. And the BRICS countries, all of them are trading with Africa.
And we know that there are resources in Sudan, especially in Darfur. And that is why Darfur has been on the front burner for a long time.
So Cameroonians are anxious, Cameroonians are impatient, Cameroonians are like, oh, many of the guys are not talking today. You can read it all over the social media.
Egypt has officially declined to accept fleeing Palestinians for fear that the more Palestinians we accept across the border into Egypt, the more trouble there may be for the country in the nearest and farthest future.
Welcome back. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has called for increased budgetary allocation to enable it intensify its fight against corruption in the country. The chairman of the anti-graft agency, Ola Olukoyede, made this call while defending the agency's budget in Abuja.
According to Olukoyede, the EFCC has been facing numerous challenges in carrying out its mandate due to limited resources, as the agency's current budgetary allocation is not commensurate with the scale and complexity of corruption cases it deals with on a daily basis. He emphasized the urgent need for increased funding and oversight by the committee.
All the ongoing projects are already completed. I want to know the reason why this reduction. If you look at it, in 2023, you have 2,530,707,086.00. Now in 2024 you have 1,241,237,267.00. A difference of 1,200 and something, 80 something million. So this is a very big shift from what you had in 2023.
The chairman of the House Committee on Financial Crimes, Ginger Obinna, noted that it is the responsibility of the committee to carry out oversight functions, as this will address any loophole in the agency.
We are going to work in collaboration with the committee. The job of the committee is to oversight, the implementation of this budget as well. Step by step, point by point, monthly basis, quarterly basis, we have put mechanism in place to ensure that if we give you the opportunity to have your approval for our total proposal, we also want to confirm that it will be implemented to the last kobo.
House Committee on Financial Crimes. While meeting with the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit (NFIU), the chairman also urged its members to unite in their commitment to safeguarding the economic prosperity of the nation, recognizing that the collaboration with the NFIU is instrumental to achieving their common goal. He added that together they can build a resilient financial system that stands as a beacon of trust and integrity.
Let's now join Chamunda Beng for business news.
Through the Sustainable Energy Fund for Africa, SEFA, Nigeria and other African nations stand to benefit from the €5 million funds from Italy. The new contribution was made known by Vania Gava, Italy's Deputy Minister of Environment and Energy Security, at a side event of the 2023 United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP28 in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The authorization of a potential strike by pilots from Air Transport International ATI, a vital air freight provider for Amazon, could jeopardize the company's $117 billion logistics service revenue. Pilots are complaining about low pay and a noticeable rise in absenteeism. If the strike materializes in the coming year, Amazon's extensive delivery network may encounter disruptions. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited will start pricing crude supplies against dated Brent crude in 2024. This is according to a December 5th Bloomberg report. As per the report, NNPC Limited plans to change how it prices its crude cargoes starting in January 2024. A company circular mentioned by Bloomberg outlined that NNPC Limited will shift its pricing method, switching to using the monthly average of dated Brent, the physical crude benchmark, instead of basing prices on the average settlement of dated Brent in the 5 days after loading. According to Bloomberg, this change may increase the risk factors associated with the nation's crude supply. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
Thank you, Chamun Dabeng. Now, away from Nigeria, the death toll from floods in northern Tanzania following torrential rains this weekend has risen to 63, the Prime Minister said on Monday, adding to hundreds of other deaths caused by extreme weather in East Africa since seasonal rains began in October. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa said in comments broadcast on television that the number of injured stood at 116 people, adding that landslides had destroyed half of one village he visited. Earlier on Monday, President Samia Suluhu Hassan had put the number of dead at 57 and those injured and receiving treatment at 85. A spokesperson for her office, Zuhura Yunus, said the floods and landslides had affected 1,150 households with 750 acres of farmland destroyed. Severe flooding caused by the El Nino and Indian Ocean dipole weather phenomena has forced hundreds of thousands from their homes in Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia, and Tanzania since the rains began. Still on the foreign scene, the Sierra Leonean government on Monday announced 43 new arrests in connection with the November 26 coup attempt, bringing to 57 the number of people arrested since these events. The vast majority of those arrested are military personnel. The latest figures published on November 28 showed 14 people arrested, including 13 soldiers and 1 civilian. The Deputy Minister in charge of information, Yusuf Keketoma Sandi, on state radio that the 57 people include 37 soldiers, 10 civilians, 4 soldiers dismissed from the army, 5 active police officers, and 1 retired officer. The names of the leaders of the coup have not been disclosed. Sierra Leonean President Julius Maada Bio promised on Saturday that the response to the events would be dictated by respect for the law. In sports, Nigeria women national team Super Falcons have qualified for 2024 Women African Cup of Nations to be hosted by Morocco, beating Cape Verde 2-1 at the Estadio Nacional in Praia. Falcons won 7-1 on aggregate after winning the first leg in Abuja 5-0. Esther Okoronjo and Rashida Tajibade scored the goals for Nigeria in the second leg. Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen has added yet another gang to his growing list of accolades after scooping the Footballer of the Year prize for 2023 at the AIC Oscar Del Calcio Awards. Osimhen was instrumental for Napoli as they raised their first Serie A title in 33 years earlier in the year. The Nigerian scored 26 league goals to land the gong at the Italian Footballers Association Footballer of the Year award ceremony on Monday night. Apart from winning the individual prize, Osimhen also earned a spot in the Serie A Team of the Year alongside teammates Kivicha Karashela and Kim Min-jae. Monday's event is coming 1 week before the CAF Awards, where the striker is in pole position to become the first Nigerian to win Africa's Top Player prize since legendary Kanu Nwankwo in 1999. The event is billed for the Moroccan city of Marrakesh. Former Nigerian captains Mikel Obi and Vincent Onyema were the closest to winning the award since Kanu, but they ended second and third respectively in 2013 and 2014. In October, Osimhen was ranked 8th in the 2023 Ballon d'Or, becoming the highest-rated Nigerian since the inception of the award. Kanu had finished 11th in 1996. Let's now join Adeni Ajishafe for more sport news.
Reigning African badminton champion Oluwapo Peyori has won the 4th Mutual Benefit National Badminton Championship in Lagos. Nigerian #1 at badminton player defeated Victor Ikechukwu 2-1 to win the men's singles final and also emerged winner of 3 out of the 4th edition of the championship. Oluwapo Peyori and Daniel Christopher defeated Victor Ikechukwu and Emmanuel Joseph 2-1 to emerge victorious. Ruth Ebere beat Deborah Uke 2-0 to emerge winner in the women's singles final. Ebere edged former national and African champion Adesokan Dorcas 2-0 in the semi-final, while Deborah Uke defeated Sofiat Obanishola 2-0 to book a place in the finals. Grace Gabriel and Ramatu Yakubu defeated Sofiat Obanishola and Zainab Alabi 2-0 to win the women's doubles final, as Babatunde Ayomide and Adekunle Oluwaferanmi defeated Usman Kudus and Tiamiyu Salawat in the final of the mixed doubles category. The Nigerian Premier Football League (NPFL) have issued a practice directive to clubs on dress code for the technical crew and players. Katsina United was found to have flouted the code during their matchday 11 fixture in Lagos against Sporting Lagos. Katsina United has been ordered to pay 1 million naira for the inappropriate display of the player's name and number, while the kits manager, Masudu Lawal, received 1-year ban from all NPFL activities for improper conduct. In the aftermath of fans' unruly conduct in another matchday 11 fixture, Gombe United were fined 7 million naira and 1 match stadium ban to fans for breaches ranging from disruption of match by fans throwing objects onto the field of play to disruption of live broadcast of the match and failure to provide adequate and effective security. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we've come to the end of the news hour on Trust TV. Remember, you can follow us across all of our social media platforms. And do not forget to join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thanks for your time.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.